Just tell me when to start, okay?
Please start, so you can start me.
Okay. So what was the first thing which come to your mind when you guys were told that today is going to be an environment and ecology class? I mean, don't stare at the screen right now. You can start talking. There's no one stopping you, I guess.
एक्चुअली कुछ फॉर्मली बोला नहीं था कि there's going to be a environment and ecology class, but ऐसे ही just मैसेज आया था तो
Okay.
I have applied for the environment and climate change program, and I asked sir, I requested him कि ऐसा class arrange हो पाए तो इस course का भी.
Acha, you have applied for climate change and sustainability.
Yes.
Is this your first preference?
Yes.
Okay. And also, should I start picking out your name, calling out your name, because I don't want to do that. Just tell me like whether my voice is audible or not. Prachi, Payal, Jasmeet, Ashutosh.
Sir, audible.
Don't call me sir, yaar. You can call me Kumer. I'm just a student.
Yes, audible.
Still, sir, you are our teacher, so you'll be sir for us.
What about others like Swaraj and Suraj? Who is Shivam, by the way? Shivam, Priyanshu, Jasmeet.
yes sir, you are audible.
Okay. So tell me, like, what do you understand by like environment? What is the first thing which comes to your mind when you think about environment? This is like today. What I'm going to like make you study is not about air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, and whatever that shit is. Because the thing is this that we have been studying since our 12th also. Like we have been studying in our schools. So I expect ki, you guys must be knowing all about it, like renewable, the difference between renewable, non-renewable, like what are the different types of pollutions which we have, why Delhi is the only state that is battling with a lot of air pollution issues. So I am expecting that you all know about it, right?
Yes, sir.
Don't call me sir, yeah. It's giving me some sort of like I don't want to be called sir. Please call me Kumer.
So basically,
Okay.
environment.
Okay, yeah.
First thing hit to me is nature, surrounding nature.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay. What?
So, sir, Kumair, as in, I'll be opting for HR Masters from TIS. तो मेरे को ये class attend करनी है. As in,
like have you this thing? Have you gone with your written exam? Like, are you cleared your written exam?
no, as in, I want to do HR. So, is this important to attend?
See, I'll tell you if you are preparing for written exam like for TIS NET, so I think you should give it a shot because anyway, if you're sitting idle and not doing anything, so you can just go for it. Otherwise, it's okay. If you're going for HR, so it's not a compulsory. But since I'm telling you, if you are preparing for TIS NET exam for written one, so yeah, so that it is good to know some facts about environment. That's all.
Oh, great. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, no one answered my question. What I asked, like, what do you understand by environment? What is the first thing which came to your mind when you were told that today this class is going to happen? So what are we going to be, taught? Should I start picking out the name because I'm very good at it? Because we have been doing this to our professors.
Basically environment means the surrounding nature, the surrounding biomes or biosphere of our earth.
Okay.
Nature and ecology.
Okay. What about others? They don't know anything about environment? Okay. So I'll start since you guys are just like us. So that's what we have been doing. Okay. So that's the first thing. Like when we are studying about this thing, like environment. like I'll not go very much into those other things which we have been studying in 12th. So I'll go into little bit details. So these are very important questions because they have been asked to us when we sat for the climate change and sustainability. So they were asked in our objective type of questions. So I think this time sir told me that the pattern is going to be test pat. So in that, sir told me that it's going to be an objective type of question. So I can walk you through some of the questions which were already asked, and all the questions which are going to be asked this time, they're going to be surrounding that only. So, so first question is like, what is the difference between a weather and a climate? The floor is open. Anyone wants to answer? Just go. Like there is no
Yeah.
one.
Weather is the surrounding condition in a particular area for a short period of time, whereas a climate is for a larger area, and it spans over years or sometime decades.
Okay,
For a
that's like
longer period of duration.
Yeah,
okay.
matlab weather can change within minutes, hours, but when we talk about the climate, so it takes very long time if we say कि it's going to change, it remains same.
Okay, that's nice. What about others like Shivam and Prabhash? Trisha, Sunny, Malik. What about you guys? See, I want this class to be very happening. I want everyone to answer because I want like that we learn something from this class, even though like it's very complex topic right now.
Sir, weather is for a small duration of is a
Okay.
long duration of time, includes seasons and all,
Okay.
and climate is for a very short duration.
I think you are saying exactly opposite.
Sorry. Yeah, just the opposite.
Yeah, go. Yeah, someone wants to say Ria, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
weather is like for a short span, and climate is for a longer span, and for a weather condition to be called as a climate, it has to persist for a period of minimum 30 years.
Okay. So can't it be for a decade?
Yeah, I said minimum 30 years.
Okay. Okay, so I'll go then. So as the picture says, as you can see, like weather tells us what you have to wear each day. Like if I am stepping out of the house and I see, oh, it's windy, then I have to wear something, which protects me from the wind. Or if I go outside and see it's raining, then I have to see, okay, I have to take raincoat or umbrella with me. So that is like weather. But when we see climate, so we arrange our wardrobe according to our climate. Like we have our summer clothes, then we have our winter clothes, then we have other clothes. So this is like a difference which I think a boy or like a small child will get to know through this picture. Now if you go into a little bit details, so weather is like something which happens like every day, as you have been saying. Everyone has been saying the same thing. It's happened for a short period of time. Climate happens for a long period of time. So basically, if I have to go into details, so climate is basically when we average out the all weather conditions. Like for example, like when we say that the Earth, this climate is we say that we should not go above 2 degrees Celsius. What do you mean by that?
The overall difference or the buffer in the temperature of Earth should not go above 2 degrees Celsius over a period of time.
Okay. What about
Compared-
others?
Compared to the pre-industrial levels,
Okay.
the temperature should not rise by more than 2 degrees.
Okay. What about others like Payal, Prachi, Sunny, Suraj, Swaraj? You guys, like, I just want to understand first, like, are you guys done with your this thing written exam, or are you guys preparing for written exam testnet?
So testnet is done for us. For many of us, testnet is done.
Okay. So and
So
how?
some of us are just starting with the preparation of testnet.
Okay, okay. And how many of you want to go into climate change? Like, is there anyone like?
No, I want to go for disaster management, and I have cleared my first round. But I believe that climate change and weather change are is one of the main factors for disaster. So I am here
Okay,
to attend the class.
okay. So as we all know that since you all said it very correctly that weather is for a short duration of time. So of course, as you say, it keeps on changing. And why it keeps on changing is because there are a lot of factors which keeps on changing. Like for example, if I'm right now I'm in Delhi, so we say today it is very windy, and so my mother was saying it is windy because in Gurgaon, so it rained. So because of that, it is changing. So as we see, there are a lot of factors which affects the weather. So as you can see here, I'll just see, I'm doing it for the first time, so I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, so these are the, can you see this thing, this pencil or whatever it is?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So
Yes, sir.
these are some of the factors which influence the weather at a day, in a particular day. But when we talk about climate doesn't change like per day. Climate is basically when we average out all the weather condition. Like for example, if I have to tell the climate of Delhi, then I won't study only summer. I'll study summer, winter, and autumn, and then I'll average out like, okay, this was the temperature in the autumn, this was the temperature in summer, this was the temperature in winter. Then I'll average them out, and then I'll come about a conclusion. Okay, this is the climate of Delhi. I hope. So did you guys get it? Like what I mean to say?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Yes.
Okay. Should I start like picking up the name because I'm very good at it? I'm telling you. Like this Sunny Malik. Why isn't he responding? Is he able to hear? Sunny?
Sir, I just said yes.
Acha, you only said yes. Okay, sorry.
Yes, sir.
What about others? Suraj and Swaraj?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Swaraj. Okay. He doesn't want to answer. So like when we are talking about climate, as I already told you, so we look at the average of, precipitation, the temperature, humidity, sunshine. So we are looking at the average. But when we are looking for the weather, we basically look for their at particular day what is changing. So I'll go according to the UNFCCC guideline or UNFCCC statements. How many of you here know what is UNFCCC? Since it was asked in our exam in climate change topic, like
United
when
Nations
we
Framework of
went for
Climate
the.
Change Convention.
Okay, so okay, some at least know. What about others? So what is the work of UNFCCC? Uh,
It is a
Hello.
treaty, as far as I know, it is a treaty for environmental protection and all.
Okay. So I'll so UNFC says that a change of climate which is attributed directly or indirectly to human activity. So I'll explain to you this thing first because it's very technical, that alters the composition of global atmosphere, which in addition to natural climate variability. So whatever it is, I'll explain you what is UNFCCC saying. So UNFCCC saying is change of climate happens because of two reasons. First, they are saying man-made reasons. So that is why we call anthropogenic. That's what we call. How many of you know what is anthropogenic, by the way?
It's related to anthropology, study of humans, basically.
Okay. What about others? Anyone wants to contradict him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's right. He said, okay, sir, I believe. So, yeah. So, whatever he said is right. So, anthropogenic emissions is emissions which are done by the human. So, UNFCCC says there are two reasons for why change in climate is happening. So he's saying like the two reasons are human activities. So that is burning of fossil fuels and land use changes. So what I mean by land use changes is, like for example, we have a lot of forests. Like for example, you must be reading a lot of headlines that Amazon forest has been chopping down a lot of forests. It's called the lungs of earth, and it has been chopping down. And the reason why they are chopping it down is because that country, like the population is dependent on agriculture, and they want land for to do agriculture. And how are they going to get that land? By chopping out the forest. So when you chop out the forest, so basically what happens is, these trees, they are storing carbon. So when you chop out these trees, the carbon which is stored in those forests, it uh, basically it goes into the atmosphere, and it increases the overall temperature of the earth, the average temperature what I'm talking about. And so because of that, this is called land use changes. When you chop down the forest for your benefits, like for agriculture, it could be for setting up of factories, for setting up of any sterilite plants or anything. So that is called human activities. And then comes the natural activities. So natural activities is like volcanic eruption. Now what happens, can anyone explain me like volcanic eruption, like how volcanic eruption is related to the change of climate?
Sir, emissions.
What emissions? Like it's good to say emission.
Uh,
Mostly
you
the
know how-
volcanic eruptions, in the emissions of the volcanic eruptions are composed of sulfur oxides, sulfur dioxide and sulfur oxides normally. So they are a major pollutant in air. Eruptions occur due to tectonic movements. So the tectonic movements also play a major role in climate. Whether it's the climate of total Earth or a particular biota.
Perfect.
Do you
What about others?
were you asking how is volcanic eruption related, how is volcanic eruption a cause for climate change, or are you asking how climate change causes volcanic eruptions?
You just answer whatever you know about volcanic eruption. Maybe I can learn something new from you.
No, I just got confused. What were you asking? That's
Okay, so I'm asking like, why is UNFCCC saying volcanic eruption is also related to change in climate? It is also one of the factors which is influencing the change in climate.
okay.
What about others like Prachi and Ronak? And
Sir, I need to say that volcanic eruption will lead to immersion of lava, which will cause burning in the forest and may lead to forest fire.
okay, this is new because I also never know this thing. What about others?
Just adding to Priyanshu's point, it basically release the greenhouse gases and then उसी का effect जो है वो हमारे climate पे पड़ता है.
Okay. So none of you are like thoda bhi wrong. All of you are correct. But the thing is I will explain you. So what happens to this guy? I don't know who was that guy who said about sulfur. So what happens is like volcanic eruption, when it erupt, so there are a lot of sulfur emissions. So what happened in sulfur particles, they go into stratosphere. So like I think you all guys must be knowing about stratosphere. So first come troposphere, then stratosphere. So troposphere is where our atmosphere is happening. Stratosphere is where the aeroplane and everything goes from, like in that zone. So and ozone is there. So what happens is like these small particles, they go into stratosphere. So what happens when the sunlight comes, so when it comes into the like coming into the earth, so these small particles, they reflect back the sunlight, and because of that the earth gets little cooler, the climate gets little cooler. And that is why, if you guys know about, I don't know, it's very technical, a branch of science called geoengineering is coming about. So geoengineering is all about how can we, how can human make some sort of arrangement so that our earth temperature becomes cooler. So like there are like lot of hypotheses in it. Like one of the hypothesis is setting up of mirror on the space. So these all are like theoretical, they are not at all be practical because they are too costly. So what happens is like they are hypothesizing, let's put mirror on the space, and so that whatever this sunlight is coming, it will be reflected back and will only allow little sunlight, like that is like which is required for our survival. That's it. So these are all the hypotheses which is right now going on, and then there are others like injecting solar this sulfur particles. Like volcanic eruption doesn't happen every day that it will cool out this thing. So what their hypothesis they're saying is, let's inject sulfur particles into stratosphere so that these particles will reflect the sunlight and earth will become cooler. I hope it got cleared. Can you just raise your hand to say yes so that I can get to know?
Yes.
Hi, sir. Just me this side.
Okay.
Yeah. So, sir, I just joined. I was in the meeting, but I had some deadline to meet, so I've just joined. So I'll try to be in the loop.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I can say that, okay, you guys are understanding. Okay, so now the thing is this, we come to the greenhouse effect, because the reason why I brought this topic is because I know you must be knowing about greenhouse gas and all. So I'll just change the window because I don't want the answer to be seen to everyone. So the thing is this, so what is greenhouse effect? And like, just tell me, is it a bad thing or is it a good thing?
Obviously bad, sir.
Sir, it depends on situation. Like there are sometimes when farmer keep some plants within this confined places so that they can get enough heat, sufficient heat, so they can grow properly. Like there is a
But we are discussing the greenhouse effect and not the greenhouse system. So the greenhouse effect, as we call it, is detriment for our society and the earth and the climate. If I'm right.
Greenhouse effect is basically a effect, so it can be used positively and negatively both. So it is a scientific method. It is not. It was not discovered only when the earth was warming. It was discovered way before for farming. So greenhouse effect can be used in positive ways, but in terms of earth and ecology and environment, it is detrimental.
Okay. So that one guy who said greenhouse effect is an effect, I mean, that was terrific. But yeah, so that was nice. That was a good explanation. But there was one guy who said greenhouse effect is detrimental to a society, and then one was in the beginning who said it's bad. So it's not like that. So one guy said like it has been happening since ages. So exactly, even if like today the humanity cease to exist, then also greenhouse will affect. It will go on. So naturally it has been going on, but the issue comes when the space, or you can say the pace of greenhouse effect gets increased because of human activities, basically burning of fossil fuels, or as I said, land use changes. So is it a bad thing or a good thing? So we can see that if you see from this, like 15 degrees Celsius, that is the ambient temperature we require to survive, to make the earth livable. So how is this possible? Because of greenhouse effect only. Because there are some gases called the greenhouse gases which retain the sunlight and doesn't allow it to go back into the space. So because of that, the earth gets warmer, and that is why our earth is livable for us. Because hadn't greenhouse effect been happening, the earth would have been a frozen place. So the temperature would have been -30 or -40 like Mars. So we would not, so there wouldn't be any life or mankind here. So I think everyone got it right.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how about that guy who said it was bad?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I need to get back to the basics. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. So if we see how much is reflecting back and how much is coming. So if we see from here, approximately 30% of the solar energy that reaches our world is reflected back, and 70% passes through the atmosphere. So majority is passing through the atmosphere and coming into our earth. So now what happens is, when this 70% comes into the atmosphere, some gets again reflected back because of volcanic eruptions. So because of those sulfur particles, some get reflected back because because of this thing, what do we call these greenhouse gas if we see carbon dioxide, methane, so nitrous, so some of these gases, they have a sort of, what do we call that, they reflect back some gases, but some of these gases, they are more potent, as in like they store or they don't allow that gas to go. So that we'll see in the next page. So
Yes.
so I think everyone got it right.
Basically, they act like a blanket.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this was one of the question which was asked in our exams. So you can just jot it down. What are the main gases which which are causing carbon dioxide? So one is which are causing greenhouse effect. So one is carbon dioxide. Then we have methane. Then we have nitrous oxide. Then we have ozone, water vapor, and fluorinated gases. And water vapor is the only one which is like available in plenty, and it's like natural, like it's we cannot do anything to the water vapor. See, I'll explain you why it's a greenhouse gas, because see, water vapor doesn't sort of store water or doesn't let the gas out. So what happens is, as we all know, if we take a warm water and if we take a cold water, like if I microwave a a water and make it hot, and the other is the refrigerated water, so we'll see that the hot water will have more of steam, and it will and that's how the clouds are formed, and that's how the rain comes. So when the water becomes more warm, so its storing capacity of what do we call that, its storing capacity of heat becomes increases. So when the water is more warm, when the climate is getting above 2 degrees Celsius, water will get more warm, it will store more heat, and then it will again make it more warm. Did you guys get this line? This is very important. Hello?
Can you repeat this one again?
So what I'm saying is, like, water vapor, what happens is, so water vapor, like as we know, a warm water vapor contains more heat, basically contains more steam, right, compared to a cold water, right? So what happens, so when the temperature, when the climate is increasing, like suppose like it is above 2 degrees Celsius, it will warm the water, and because of that, water has a potential that if it warms, it will store more steam, so it will again make it more, I mean, it will be a positive loop. So it will again warm the climate. I, okay, we'll get down thoda niche. We'll again get to this question. So in that like paragraph, I'll explain it to you. So because abhi, it's like I'm saying like verbally. So through picture, we'll get it. So these are the three things which you will see that how much GHG gases, greenhouse gases, influence global depends on three factors. How much of it exists in the atmosphere? That is, how much from these gases exists in the atmosphere. Like which gas is present more. Like in percentage wise, if we draw a pie chart, we see like which gas is more compared to the other gas. How long it remained in the atmosphere, which gas remains in the atmosphere. Basically, we are talking about the lifeline of that gas, and how effective is that in trapping heat. Well, that's another term called global warming potential. So these are the three effects which basically sort of influence global warming. So now we go down to this paragraph, so this image. So this is the global warming potential of the gases. So as you can see that carbon dioxide global warming potential is less compared to methane, which is 25 times more than carbon dioxide. And then we have nitrous oxide, which has more. Basically, global warming potential here is saying like if a nitrous oxide is there in the atmosphere, it will trap 300 times more heat compared to carbon dioxide or methane. And comes the fluorinated gas, that is there comes like 10,000 or thousands. Then how much each human caused greenhouse contribute to the emissions around the globe? So we see because carbon dioxide is present like it's presented a lot in the atmosphere, so 76% is contributed by carbon dioxide to the greenhouse effect. Did you guys get this image, like what I mean by global warming potential, and what do you understand by this 76%?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll ask one guy to please explain me this. So what is Priyanshu Rai, right? Could you explain me what do you mean by global warming potential?
So it is the potential of a certain gas to which extent it can cause the greenhouse effect or the globe. It can contribute to the global warming.
Okay, okay. I see a hand raise here. You don't have to raise your hand. You can just speak. Aryan, right? Hello. Okay. So like we'll see carbon dioxide. So once it is emitted in the atmosphere, 40% still remains after 100 years. After a century also, it will like 40% will still remain in the atmosphere, and 20% after 1,000 years, and 10% as long as 10,000 years. So this is the lifeline of carbon dioxide. Then comes the methane. So this was a question which was asked during one of our interviews. So they asked like which gas is more, potent as in like they asked like which gas is more, causing greenhouse effect, which is more powerful gas in all this thing. So people usually often say carbon dioxide, but it is not, because they say because it is, because we all hear most of the time like carbon dioxide is the one which is causing. But yeah, that is true, and carbon dioxide is in majority. But the thing is we have to here see for the potential, the global warming potential, like how much of that gas can trap that heat. So nitrous oxide was that the answer. So it's a very powerful greenhouse gas. So it has a GWP, which is like global warming potential 30 times that of carbon dioxide. So did you guys get it? Am I boring you? You can say to you that, sir, or Kumair, sorry, you are boring us. Just say like,
No, sir,
No,
we are
no, sir. No,
listening.
sir.
okay, good, good. Don't call me sir. Like just call me Kumair, right? Okay, so now we come towards, so this is like I've already told you carbon dioxide and methane. If it comes to methane, so this is like it persists in the atmosphere far less time than carbon dioxide. So its lifeline is less than carbon dioxide, but yes, it is more potential. It has more potential to trap the heat compared to carbon dioxide. But its lifeline is like this thing is what do we call that? Its lifeline is less compared to this thing carbon dioxide. And today, if you I don't know whether you guys see the debate which is going around climate change today. If I have to, like, if I'm making a statement here, just tell me whether it's true or not. Like today, if we just stop everything, we stop like all the factories, we stop all the vehicles, so then also climate change, like will climate change stop or not? Like today, like if there is a hypothetical situation that I am making everything on earth, whatever is causing climate change, so I'm stopping everything, like be it the
Sir,
emissions from.
not suddenly, but gradually it would,
Why?
because of the slow process.
Okay. uh, what about
I
others?
think it will
If it
stop
happened in
since you
million of
mentioned
days,
water vapor, और वाटर वेपर हमारा सबसे ज्यादा है तो उसकी वजह से तो होगा ही.
Okay.
Sir, may I state this with an example? So like last year lockdown happened. We all were sitting in our homes. The thing you said, factories getting closed, everything happened, and we did witness, improvement in our climate, in our sky. So yes, sir, maybe.
But sir,
Okay, so you are saying everything will stop, you are saying climate change will stop, right?
Uh, sir, a little bit, not like completely.
Okay, okay. What about others?
Yes, sir. I believe that climate would change because the thing that we are doing for this is we are shutting down our factories and all the pollution that is coming out from our transport and vehicles. So I believe that the current policy in the world is to reduce carbon emissions. We are transforming and transitioning towards zero carbon emissions, carbon neutral factories and all. So I believe that these are the things responsible for climate change, and if we close them down, so there would be a climate change that would happen. But I don't believe that that is a prudent thing to do. So yeah,
I think the
I said it
climate will
hypothetically.
change I think climate will change over time because no matter what we do, Earth is a biological system, and even if there were no humans, the climate would change eventually after a few decades. So even if we do something or we do not do something, climate will change eventually.
Okay.
Priyanshu, can you, sir, just a question to Priyanshu, what he said.
पूछ लो आपस में.
Yeah, so can I?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's
yeah.
Like, yeah, okay.
Okay, so Priyanshu, you said that अगर हम कुछ भी नहीं करते हैं, still the Earth would change and the Earth's climate would change. So can you list down some factors that would contribute to its change, even if there are no
Yeah,
humans?
sure. Just like if you know that one of the magnetic field of Earth also contributes to the climate of total Earth, right? So you can see in past many hundred years, the magnetic field of Earth keeps on changing its direction from opposite poles or deviating from from some of the angles, right? So it will eventually change the climate in a way. Certainly, most of the factors like the sea level, the growing population of animals, most of the methane comes from herbivores, right? So herbivores will grow, then the methane will also grow, and due to that methane, the climate can also change. So if we stop all the anthropogenic activities we have on Earth, we can still see all the other natural activities which contribute to the climate change, and that is a part of our biological system in Earth. So in Earth, the biota works as in a way which in which if humans were present or not, the climate will change eventually over the years. This is how the Earth evolved over the years. So I believe I have studied this because I'm saying this because I have studied this. I don't know how many instances or how many proofs I have to back this up, but this is what I have studied.
Basically, the base ice age is one of the instance, And about the magnetic field, it gradually decrease, and when it decrease, Earth will start losing its atmosphere also. So that will also contribute to climate change. There are many factors. Asteroids hit to the Earth, and well, you can't predict anything.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great amount of knowledge.
And sir, hello.
But like none of you said anything about this global warming potential, which I just told you that even if today I stop all the anthropogenic activities, but what about all those carbon which we have already emitted? Since this line says 40% still remains after 100 years. Like even after 100 years, even after a century, if I stop all the anthropogenic activities, even if I stop all the natural activities which are happening, then also like what about all those carbon which is already there in the atmosphere?
So
They
I
have their
think
own lives.
that will not pose a big problem because of our C3 and C4 type of plants. So if the carbon
No,
emission.
I didn't say like whether they will cause problem or not. I said like whether climate change will stop all of a sudden or
Okay.
will it be there or
I
not?
understood. I understood.
Okay. So can we move ahead? What? Yeah, go on.
No, nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Can I? Acha, okay. So yeah, then comes to the water vapor. Yeah, the point which I was already making. So it's like that. What warmer air holds more water, as we all know. What happens like when the temperature increases, when the climate increases, since water vapor is a greenhouse gas, so more water absorb more heat, and thereby it will basically enhance this thing, global warming or greater warming. So this was the point which I was making.
Can I ask you one thing? When we talk about the climate change, so we only talk about the increase in the temperature of Earth, or it can be a case of decrease in the temperature also.
It can be decrease in the temperature,
Yeah,
but that is not happening.
It can be. It can happen in future also when we stop using when we stop emitting the greenhouse gases. then temperature will gradually decrease, and that will also impose dangers to human species and other, ecological.
See, till next 100 year, it's very hard to say that it will decrease because of the economic activities which is going on.
Yeah.
Because
if we stop those
yeah.
activities, then
Yes. But it's like it's very hard to
so
stop
climate change will eventually occur in the future. It will never stop, right?
Yeah, it will. Yeah. Natural factors are also there.
Moreover, the population is too much. The population is also emitting so much carbon dioxide itself.
Okay. And the one guy who told about the herbivores wala ki they also emit, that point is also correct. That we'll later come to that point. So now I want to basically we'll go through some of the important protocols because these are basically from the examination point of view. So these have been asked and they'll continue be asking these because they don't have any other questions and nothing more is happening in climate change. So
just one thing, I think you are under the impression that we have to appear for testnet. Actually, testnet is over. We've all cleared it. Many of the people. I just wanted to inform you. I thought that.
No. I'm saying is because in test pad objective types of questions are asked. Like basically what do you understand by keto protocol? So they will basically give you the options. So this is what it has happened to us. I don't know about test pad. Sir told me that it's going to be an objective. In our case, it was like 10 questions objective and then one was a long lengthy answer which we have to write. So this was it. So I just preparing for that test pad, I guess this time. I don't know what the format is.
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay.
MCQs and one essay.
Okay. So yeah, you can go. So it's just like a preparation for the MCQs, I guess. And still, if you're going for the climate change in interview, they might ask you all this thing. Okay. So interview question I forgot one to ask. So there was
just a second before you move on to the next topic. I have a very basic question in relation to the question that you just asked. If we stop all activities, how will there would be climate change in the next 100 years? So one question I would like to ask, very basic, that what is there a proper definition of what do we mean by climate change? Are there any set qualities or attributes that can be said that there has been a climate change? Is there a proper definition by,
See,
when can we say that the climate is changing?
See, this is the definition. The UNFCCC, that's why I quoted it here. The UNFCCC said, what do you mean by climate change? They say a change of climate. So this is very technical. Just go through it. So what they are saying is this: climate change is happening, and that is why the IPCC was formed to make the to make the reports, scientific reports, because we believe in science, and we have to make these politicians believe that yes, climate change is happening. That is why, and they believe on the scientific reports. Even we as a humans, we generally won't believe in anything else until unless scientists say something. If it's related to any medical or something, we'll believe until unless doctors say something to us. So just like that, until unless scientists say that climate change is happening or not, then only we'll believe. So that is why, so if you see that UNFCCC clearly says a change of climate is happening, and the reason for it, human activity or anthropogenic activities and natural natural activities. So, and that is why there are annual reports which come. If you're, I don't know, if you guys are very much into climate change, so you must be seeing that lot of annual reports which come through IPCC. So in IPCC report one, annual report one, they clearly said that climate change is happening, and one of the main reason is anthropogenic activities.
Right. So this is something else. I wanted to ask something else. So what I meant was one effect of climate change, or one thing that we can see, is change in temperature. That temperatures are rising is one attribute to the climate change. What are other things? Like we have seen El Nino effect, and so what characteristics does this natural climate change have?
See, what are the other effects is go and ask Maldives, go and ask Maldives about it. What are the other effects of climate change? They'll take you to the shoreline of their of their shoreline, and they'll say it has started decreasing. Oh, sorry, it has started increasing. because of the melting of glaciers, because of this. So what happens is,
But that is a sub effect of the change in temperature. So is climate change only
no, climate change is
concerned
only,
with?
yeah, it is
Yeah.
only concerned with the
Can I add something?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. First of all, the climate change is attributed to increased level of carbons. One of the factor is increased level of carbon dioxide. So due to increase or decrease in carbon dioxide, the vegetation changes drastically. Like we have some plants, na, C3, C4, and CAM plants in our vegetation around us. So the C4 plants start growing rapidly in higher carbon, and C3 plants are growing less in higher carbon saturation points. So when the C4 plants grow more, the animals which eat C4 plants also develop more, and the animals which depend on C3 plants develop less. So it will also affect the biological system on a level where there is zoology involved and biology and botany involved, and this in turn will affect total population. So I think I've added one point on what climate change will do.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. So we'll have another class for all the debates and all this thing, but I just have to go through important things because sir told me just because these might be important from your interview point of view. So we'll finish that first. So UNFCCC, as we already told, like so what it was, a guy already told us that it is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Just please wrote this thing. It's like it's this thing expansion form abbreviation. Just wrote it because it was directly asked to us. What do you understand by UNFCCC? So at that time I had a lot of confusion. Convention of climate change होगा, convention on climate change होगा, या convention है कि कुछ और है. So something like that. So please just wrote it because it was asked for 1 mark question in our this thing. So you get extra point when you say that UNFCCC just not United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. You basically expand it. So basically it's an objective question. They just ask you to expand it. But if you are adding like more of like it was, it happened in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So where like, you don't have to say 154 signatories, but the purpose if you say was to stabilize the greenhouse concentration in the atmosphere. So at a level, which would stabilize the climate system. So if you write that thing, then basically you are going to get one answer only, 1 marks only out of 1. But the thing is when he'll go through your paragraph, he already will have an impression that this guy knows. So even if you have written a shitty paragraph, then also he'll not, because it's like a lot of papers are there. So he'll just go through it, but he'll give you good marks. So just read about it. Basically just jot down the important points. What was the purpose when it was formed, and the expansion. So what happened in this, I'll just explain you. So there are NX1 and NX2 countries. So NX1 countries are basically the OECD, or we call the developed countries, and the NX2 countries are basically the developing countries like India, like China. So what happened, like, so NX1 countries were told that you will give technology transfer, you will give fund, you will guide the developing countries, or you will basically do projects in the developing countries which will benefit these countries with regard to climate change. So this was the whole crux, why we are studying climate change, and why UNFCCC was formed, and why this classification was done. I hope everyone get it right.
Yes.
And I hope everyone is jotting down also some important things, right? Especially those students who are like who are going for climate change, just jot it down. Others can just listen and just participate as much as possible. Then we comes towards the Kyoto Protocol. So this happened in Japan. So this was the third COP. So what are the COPs? So Conference of Parties are basically called by UNFCCCs. So these are basically annually these take place. So what is the purpose? So what happens is like all the scientists come and they discuss, they bring out a report that this is happening, and this is the climate change happening, and these are the reports, and this is our backing. So this is the detailed study which we have done. So those are called conference of parties. Can anyone tell me when, where is this conference of parties 21? Sorry, this latest one, 26, I guess, is going to take place in 2021.
Glasgow.
Yeah, correct. Okay. So in Kyoto Protocol, what happened was, so the developed countries and the developing countries were called on a table, and they were told, the developing countries were specially told that you will fund, you will give the technology transfer, and you will assist the developing countries. But developing countries were not basically told that much. Basically, the burden on their shoulder was not that much. That is like one of the major reason why Kyoto Protocol failed, because the developing countries were not participating in. That is why we have this Paris agreement which came, where the developing as well as the developed countries. So this was asked during one of our interviews to a student. So he was asked, like, why do you think Kyoto Protocol failed, and what was the reason for bringing out Paris agreement? Already we had this Kyoto Protocol. So this was the reason. So the reason was like Kyoto Protocol basically focused on 6 GHG gases, but like Paris Agreement was called upon all those anthropogenic gases, bees, whatever. Not only focusing on 6 gases, the other gases also, like parafluorocarbons or hydrofluorocarbons. So these were not mentioned. So they were also included, and that is why this is what differentiate Paris Agreement from Kyoto Protocol. So Paris Agreement mein developing countries were also told ki you have these responsibilities. But in Kyoto, what was that? It was CBDR principle, common but differentiated responsibilities. That this is the differentiated responsibilities are like common. We have a common goal, but yeah, we have different responsibilities. Developed countries have to do more, and developing countries have to do less. So this was it. So 3 market-based mechanisms are being discussed. One is CDM, that is Clean Development Mechanism, emission trading, and joint implementation. So what happens in CDM is clean developing. So the developed countries are told that you have to finance, or you have to plant a project in developing countries which will gain you some credits related to carbon. So that credit, like for example, if there are some targets like that, like for example, US is implementing a renewable project or a solar project in Gujarat, let's suppose. So when they do it, they get a certificate. So that certificate they can go in the market and sell it, like, okay, this is the certificate I have. Then they get what credits for it. So if they have a, like for example, they have a target that we will be reducing this much carbon, so they can sell that certificate and they can reduce their targets. Okay, we have achieved this target by setting up a plant or a solar plant in developing countries. What happens in emission trading is like basically it's called a market trading, like where if a country or if a organization, especially the corporates, they are doing something related to climate change, or here we are talking about sustainable anything you attach sustainability. So they are giving some economic incentives, be it the reduction in tax, or be something related economic incentive. That is called emission trading. And joint implementation is where both developing and developed countries work together, where this technology, again, it's related to CDM only. So it's here you get some carbon units which you can again trade in the market, and you can reduce your goal. I hope everyone got it right. What's the difference between Kyoto and Paris, and what are the three main what do we call that, 3 main market-based mechanisms which were discussed? Everyone got it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we will move further. Like 1997 में क्या हुआ? Kyoto Protocol हुआ. फिर हम आए 2000 में. Like in 2000, what happened? The Conference of Parties was formed in Bonn, Germany. So it's also called the Bonn Convention. So what happened is this. यहाँ पे लोगों ने डिस्कस करा that we will be talking about the implementation of Kyoto Protocol, कि कितना प्रोटोकॉल के टारगेट्स अचीव हुए हैं और क्या इम्प्लीमेंट हो रहा है. But this was the first time that the US didn't participate it, because US and China, they are the top polluter, they are the top contributor to the climate change. But US at that time China was not there. So what happened? US didn't participate in this, and that is why this meeting, Bonn Convention, becomes important, because this was the first time US didn't participate in. And then we comes to 2001. अगले साल क्या हुआ? मोरक्को में again COP हुआ. So what happened is यहाँ पे Marrakesh Accords sign होते हैं. So this was asked in one of the exams. One of the question which came to us, like what do you understand by Marrakesh Accord? So you can just write it's a detailed outline of rules and procedures कि carbon market कैसे function होगा. So carbon market, again I already told you, carbon market क्या होता है कि हम लोग कार्बन को मार्केटाइज कर देते हैं. मतलब बेसिकली कि अगर मेरे पास कुछ कार्बन, अगर मैं कहीं पे कार्बन कम कर रहा हूँ, इफ आई एम रिड्यूसिंग कार्बन फ्रॉम माय फैक्ट्री और माय ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, देन आई एम गेटिंग समथिंग इन रिटर्न एंड देन आई कैन गो टू द मार्केट एंड से आई हैव रिड्यूस्ड दिस. Then the government can incentivize me, or the government can, you know, give me something in return. So this is what we call marketization. Then 2005 mein, because I'm only highlighting the important one, I'm not going every year wise. So what happened in Montreal mein hota hai apna conference of parties, and then comes the Montreal Protocol. Like before going into Montreal Protocol, can anyone tell me what is Montreal Protocol about?
इसके अंदर मतलब they decided कि ओजोन डिप्लीटिंग जो सब्सटेंसेस हैं उनका सारी डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज के अंदर कम करेंगे एमिशन, बेसिकली CFCs का.
Okay, perfect. I think it's, anyone wants to add something to that apart from what she said? Okay. So yeah, what she said is totally correct. Like, so Montreal Protocol was basically a global agreement to protect the stratospheric ozone layer. Why is ozone layer important for us? Can anyone tell me? Like, why are we protecting it? Let be a hole, no? Let it just widen it up. Why do we want ozone layer to be protected?
It absorbs the UV radiation from the sun.
And then what happens with UV radiation? Let UV radiation come and struck on my face. What will happen?
So it causes cancer.
There are different health consequences. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, at least you guys know.
And
so yeah,
and they are okay.
Yeah, go.
I think the ozone layer also helps in keeping the earth warm, but that we've discussed in the greenhouse effect.
Yes. So yeah, but the major reason was because UV lights, when it hit directly on your face, it causes skin cancer, and there were a lot of cases which were seen in US at that time. So that is why I'll tell you to read a book about it. So I'll come in the like next pages, a book which I'm being reading about it. It's very perfect. You will see a debate which started first. It started like smoking causes cancer. So there was a lot of literature which was there. Like scientists came around and they said there's a lot of literature available that smoking causes cancer. But these smoking industries, they had billions of revenues. So they basically they formed a committee of various scientists, and they were told to come up with something that smoking doesn't cause cancer. And there was a lot of debate. So if you go through this book, you will see that how, for protecting their interest, they spend millions of dollars on the research just to fake that smoking doesn't cause cancer. And then we come towards this ozone. So there's a lot of debate. You'll see there's a lot of debates in that. So we'll come to that book. So then when we have this Kigali agreement. So Kigali is just like it. It's related to ozone only. So the reason was why it happened is we have to phase down production and consumption of HFCs, which we already know are the main reason for ozone depletion, and to use ODS such as hydrofluorocarbons and fluoro, which are already controlled under the protocol. So all you have to remember is like what was Kigali and like what was it related to. Then I'll jump all these because these are not this thing. I'll jump to only the important one. Then in COP18, what happened? We had this REDD plus. So it's very important. The expansion is asked in the exams. So what happened in this? That for the first time, the concept of loss and damage was introduced. Like basically, if anything is loss, anything is damaging in the developing countries because of climate change, then the developed countries have to help that. They have to finance those things. So that was the first time like for example, Maldives is saying that their shoreline is increasing. So because of their, because of the sea level rise, So, and because of that, it is affecting their tourism industry, because when the shoreline keeps on increasing, so basically they are there's a reduce of shoreline. Now they have to, so the water is coming to their homes. Now how can, if there are no beaches, what is Maldives then? Maldives is all famous for tourism only. So where will all the Bollywood celebrities will go if like that is happening? So yeah, so what happened in Red Plus Plus is that United Nations reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. So this was the signatory thing which happened, that we have to reduce the forest degradations. And then comes the Paris Agreement 2015. Paris Agreement came force in 2016. And what was the goal? So the goal was to reduce the temperature below 2 degrees Celsius. And this is called a landmark agreement, because for the first time, even the developing countries were sitting, making eye to eye contact in front of the developed countries and contributing and saying that we will also participate. And the reason why Donald Trump, withdrew from the Paris Agreement was this only, that he wanted developing countries to participate. He said that China is a developing countries, but since China has become a major polluter, why are we still calling it a developing countries and letting our funds go into China? And since it is capable of, right now it is capable, like we don't call it a developed countries, but it is capable of, it has capable of like funding its own projects and everything. So this was the main reason that Trump was very unhappy about. That is why he withdrew from the Paris Agreement. Guys, am I making sense, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then what is like IPCC? So like UNFCCC is there. Why IPCC? So IPCC came like before UNFCCC. So it was like two organizations culminate. Basically, it was created by the United Nations UNEP, whose headquarters is in, I think, Kenya, maybe, and World Meteorological Organization. So IPCC was formed because to basically give scientific proof that climate change is happening, because these politicians, be it Donald Trump or be it Narendra Modi, these, forget about Narendra Modi, we'll talk about some other leader. So these leaders, they believe like they'll believe climate change is happening only if they have scientific backing. Why was that? Like this book in you this book so that book is called Merchant of Doubts. So in this book, like people started believing that smoking causes cancer because of the scientific proof, because people showed that yes, it has caused, and this is our report. And because of the report, a lot of news channels started circulating that report. So that is why people came to about it, and that is why IPCC was formed, to give a scientific backing to why climate change is happening. And every year, through the scientific research and everything, they come about like how much so IPCC have like 4 projections. So this is very much like thoda detail. So the detail is like they come about like they have 4 projections. So one is called they are called RCPs, like pathways. So one is called 8.5, then 4, then 6, then 2.5. So what happened is there are like 4 pathways. So what happens, they basically call like, if we are following this path, 8 वाला path, अगर हम 8.5 वाला path अगर हम follow करते हैं, so that is the path where we are not at all taking care about climate change. We are just fueling our economy with fossil fuel. We are just burning fossil fuel. Then in that situation, they say ki this is the consequences which will happen. Then comes the other 2 scenarios. Then those are called the mid-range scenarios, that yes, we are taking some measures, but we are also like, that is the middle one. Then comes the 2.5 one. So right now we want to be on the path of 2.5. So 2.5 scenario says that yes, we are going towards greener economy. We are going towards renewable energy. We are going towards green money. So this is something which we wanted. So that is why IPCC was created, to give a scientific backing towards climate change, because we have to make these politicians believe, because ultimately decisions have to come from their side. I hope you.
So what is green money?
So green money is when you fund something related to renewable. So that money is called green money.
Okay, sir.
So now I'll come towards a book. I'll suggest you some book to read it. So these are the amazing books. So I'm right now reading this one, The Merchant of Doubts. So as I already told you, what's this book talk about and everything. So just give it a through, like it will change your these things. Like you'll see that just because we see on the smoking cigarette, like we see the packet that smoking causes cancer, but you will see a debate, a huge debate, and a lot of funds, a lot of money just flown into a river just to stop that sentence, just to coming from out smoking causes cancer. A huge money was just flown. So you'll see that. So some of the movies I'll suggest you, since a lot of we guys are sitting at home, and we this it's a youth era, so we go into movies and all. So I'll suggest one, Cowspiracy. So it's a movie, the sustainability secret. Sorry. So it's a movie about this guy. Someone said about this methane from the cows or from the herbivores. So I'll again want to highlight is that if you see about this line, scientists most definitely do count ruminant methane. So ruminant is basically the herbivore. So they have something in their stomach. So basically all the herbivores which eat grass. So basically when they burp, the basically what happens is they basically eject small amount of ethane. But like we do not, scientists do not make they have not included this into their reports till now. So that is why this movie is all about this, how can we neglect a large portion of methane, since methane is more potent than carbon dioxide, is being produced from these animals and we are neglecting it. So it's an amazing movie. It'll just open your nerves about everything which you never ever thought about it. Then we have this Seaspiracy. So this is a movie which came in 2021 right now. I just watched it. It's available on Netflix. So it's related to the sustainable fishing and how important are whales for the environment. So what happened, like we have these tags which comes on the these, if you see, I don't know how many of you eat fish which is there on the boxes. So they have a tag like called sustainable fishing. So this movie will open your nerves that is that really sustainable? Are they just giving those tags just for the money they are getting it? And how important are whales for the environment? Can anyone tell me, like how whales are important for the environment? What is the role of whale? I like to point out Shayadri, Prachi, Payal, Lakshman, Karthik. You guys please speak out. Is my voice what?
When I'm not sure, but when whales die, they emit carbon dioxide into the ocean.
Okay, they emit.
I don't know. I
Yeah. Okay.
may
Okay.
mix two things.
Okay. Fine. What about others? Like Shayadri, right? Am I
Yes, sir. So I have no idea about this.
You can call me Kumer. Yeah, don't call it sir. I'm just a student only.
All right. Okay.
You guys are going to be student next year. Sorry, this year. And Swaraj, what about Swaraj? What about Lakshman? Karthik A? What about these guys? Are they here or they are going for the? They have gone for the food. Yeah, like see, the thing is if it is like two-way communication, then it's like more of a learning, because since I'm not a professor, I'm just a student like you. So I've been doing these things. Right now also we do. We have few classes left and we also leave like this. But yeah, it's a at this time I think it's a very if the professor is asking and all this thing, and if it's a professor is kind, I think we should revert it back by just answering. Even if it's a wrong one, let it be. At least maybe the wrong one can give us something which we can ponder upon.
Yes, sir. I'm not sure कि actually क्या होगा, but whales as a part of a ecosystem काफी important रहेंगी, क्योंकि अगर वो नहीं रही तो वो जिनको प्रे करती हैं उनकी क्वांटिटी बहुत बढ़ जाएगी, एंड जो whales को खाते हैं, मतलब whales को वैसे कोई खाता नहीं है, but after whales die they degrade and some of the animals would feed upon them, तो उनका क्वांटिटी कम हो जाएगा, तो जो इकोसिस्टम है वाटर का उसका बैलेंस बिगड़ जाएगा.
Okay. So I'll tell you.
I'm just guessing. When they die, I guess whales and the bigger marine animals, they only ultimately turn into fossil fuels, petroleums and stuff.
Okay, that's nice. Like,
this
Sir, I don't know much about this whale thing, but इतना पढ़ा था कि when like they die, तो जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का अमाउंट है वो काफी सारा अपने साथ लेकर दे सिंक टू the bottom of any marine source.
Okay.
वो climate balance होता है सर हमारा उससे थोड़ा.
Okay.
And I guess whales also transmit certain ultrasonic sounds or waves in the ocean, which I guess are useful in some way. I don't know. I've heard about it somewhere.
Okay. Basically, this is new to me at all. Like whales also gives ultrasound.
Yeah, they communicate via ultrasound.
Okay, okay. No. Like,
The humans.
okay. So what happens is like this guy, this one guy who said like whales, So what happens is like if we compare it to the trees and if we compare it to the whales, so one whale, in a lifetime, so what they basically, like, I forgot to quote it, like some source. So they basically take 33 tons of carbon dioxide, with themselves, and when they die, they basically, that whole carbon is there in their stomach. So our carbon gets reduced. Like just imagine one great whale is taking 33 tons compared to a tree which only takes 33 pounds of carbon dioxide per year. So that is there. So they take a lot of carbons, and then when they die, they basically sink to the bottom of the ocean floor, and then they trap all those carbon dioxide. First is this, and second is this: when whales shit, when they are like shitting, so what happens? That shit basically goes to the ocean floor, and that gives nutrient to the phytoplanktons, or the basically what we call the grass in river. Sorry, the grass in water. That's what we call the. If I have to explain it to a person who doesn't know phytoplankton, so these are basically called grasses, which is there under the ocean floor. You must have seen in the scuba diving and all. So what happens? So when they shit, so their shit is nutrient to those plants, and that increases their sort of their populations, you can say. So what happens is these phytoplanktons, they absorb a lot of carbon dioxide, and they have been storing a lot of carbon dioxide, and when their quantity increases, they store more of carbon dioxide. So this is what happened. So if someone asks you like which whether land or whether ocean, whether air, which is more which is storing more carbon, then you should say it is ocean. And one of the reason is phytoplanktons, because they, like, if you see ocean, like mankind has not even explored ocean abhi tak. Itna ocean hai hamare paas, itna water hai. We have not even explored the Arctic. We have not gone very much into the Pacific, even though like we have ships traveling that, but exploring is another thing. But in land we have explored everything. But see, that is the amount of carbon this ocean is storing. So whales basically contribute in two ways, which I've already told you. I hope it got it. Like I hope you guys got it right.
Yes.
Okay, so then there is another movie called The Inconvenient Truth. So this Al Gore's documentary. So Al Gore was I think he was the vice president. He got Nobel Prize for this documentary also. So I think, so this was a documentary, which tells you about climate change. So I think IPCC also got Nobel Prize for this, along with Al Gore's. So documentary. So the documentary was said to be amazing to bring awareness among the youth or among the people about climate change. So you guys can watch these three movies. And in the end, I would say that the topic we don't talk about when it comes to the environment is like digital footprint. Like we have been like, there is not a movie which which comes regarding these topics. Then we have explored oceans, we have explored everything. What is the role of ocean, what is the role of whale? But like we are not considering one thing, like we have been we are moving towards digital revolution, this fourth industrial era. But we are not talking about digital carbon footprint. So like I like to quote here some a think tank project. So a French think tank called Shift Project. So they did this thing, like how much digital is contributing towards carbon emissions. So in 2000 alone, they said that video streaming has amounted to equivalent 300 million tons of carbon emissions. The reasons I'll tell you later, how it is going towards carbon emissions. And the researchers exactly, so this I'll quote, 34% of online streaming on demand services like Amazon Prime and Netflix, they are responsible over 100 million tons of carbon emissions. So this is like, if you have to compare it, this is like the entire emissions of an entire country of Greece in year 2017. So sites such as Amazon Prime and Netflix, they are responsible for 100 millions of carbon tons. And 24 streaming comes from pornographic content. Watching porn accounted for 80 million tons of carbon emissions in 2018 only. And online platforms such as YouTube, another 18%, such as stream and social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. So they are also contributing. We all know like Cristiano Ronaldo. So if like Cristiano Ronaldo puts something on Instagram, so since I think he has millions of followers, so if he posts something like on Instagram on his Instagram handle, so that usually takes about like a lot of carbon emissions. There was this figure I forgot. So, and the reason why is this, because for that content to reach, to make it reach to those million viewers, you require energy, you require that electrical energy, and somewhere that electrical energy is being made because of fossil fuels. So when you make those energies, because we only know that renewable energy is not contributing right now to that much of electricity generation. So a lot of electricity, even in today we see thermal plant in India, our major electricity is coming from coal power plants. So somewhere these streaming and all, they contribute a lot, because if we see Google, so even if we we have a lot of Google Drive, we store a lot of data is there, but somewhere they must be keeping a tab of all this thing. So of course they have this called data center, where a lot of ACs are there to keep it cool. So there are like terabytes of data, like lot of data you can't even imagine, and they have like tons of ACs which are there. So where is this ACs, when the ACs turn on, like they emits heat. So where is this heat going? What is it contributing? What about the electrical energy? What about the energy, the energy which is required to run those data or the ACs? Where is this all emissions going? So this all contributes to the this thing, carbon emissions. But since we usually don't talk about it, so this is something I would like to highlight here. So I'll talk here about a carbon specialist called Mike Berners-Lee. So he was the brother of Tim Berners-Lee. So he's the inventor of World Wide Web. So he said that every spam email, even if you don't open it, it releases an estimated zero point 0.3 carbons of into the atmosphere. And the reason how it is emitting is because we are letting it store it. So we are like kind of storing it, but like it is storing on our drive, but somewhere that drive is there, somewhere like the country is storing the data. So that is why there's a lot of debate which is going on these days. If you will be reading or seeing the debates, like India is saying that they want their data to be stored in India only, because basically what happens, like Instagram, they basically store all the data in their American plant only. So data theft is another issue, but yeah, so this is another thing which we usually don't talk about. So I think you guys got it. Like, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So to this thing. So this was the reason how I told you to prevent servers from overheating. Additional energy is required, ventilation to cool the servers down. And so yeah, like lot of, if you see a lot of these countries called Baltic countries, like this Sweden, Norway and all, they have been working a lot on these things. So what they usually do is what they have been doing is, like I read a report, so where they take those ACs heat, and they because since these countries are at the pole towards, so basically they are more here, it's more colder there. So basically they take these heat from the ACs which is coming out from their data center, and they usually inject those heat into the different household residential homes, because at there they require heat, because it's very cold there. So they have been using things, and there are a lot of other thing also, like for example there is a site also like alternative to Google. So if you do a search on it, so they plant, for every search they plant trees. So basically there are some ecological things being done to overcome these things. But yeah, this is the thing we need to ponder right now, that even a spam email is contributing 0.3 grams of CO2. But since we usually do not talk about all these things, so we usually talk about climate change happening only because of fossil fuels, but this is not the thing. We have like digital carbon footprint, we don't talk about it. So I think that was all.
Yeah, just I want to add one thing, and since you mentioned about the spam mails, I just try to urge people, and here also I would like to urge and request all of you to kindly delete all the spams that you get and the extra mails that you get, because those themselves are generating a lot of carbon dioxide, and we generally don't do that because we are unaware of it. So yeah, just a small request that we all can at least contribute this much by maintaining our inbox.
Yeah,
That
exactly. Uh, of course, because the thing is right now it must be, you must be thinking, I'm just a person, mere karne se kya ho jayega? Like there are only, but it's just like, if you do it, if other 1,000 people are doing it, that of course, some way you can say that we are contributing towards the environment, even if you're not being recognized. But that's another thing.
and each person has thousands of spams, and every day we get around 50. So that will add up to a lot bigger number.
Yeah. So I hope this was all today. I didn't want to talk about all those air pollution and all, since like those are like very pacha wala thing. That's what I consider. Since environment, if you're talking about environment ecology, these all things come like air pollution, water pollution. What are the different types of pollution? What are the causes? What are this? I really went into the details because this is what we have been studying about in college. And since I'm a student, I'm not a professor, so I didn't know anything like how to come out topic and what to make you study. So what I did, like I actually like what we have been studied, so I just told it to you guys, so it might help you in your preparation also, and it might help you, something become so aware also about like this uh, digital carbon footprint also. So sir told me to take one more class, so I was thinking about keeping it to the sustainable development goals and what is sustainability, like sir told me on Sunday, I guess. So are you okay with that topic, or do you want me to cover anything else? Like,
Sir, can you please include how these man-made human activities or natural activities also lead to, and these climate change, weather change lead to disasters happening all over India. So if you could include a little bit of that, that will be helpful for me.
okay, so okay, you are selfish.
No, sir, I mean for everyone.
Acha, you are the one who is sitting for disaster management, right?
Yes, sir.
That is your first preference?
Yes, sir. The second one is climate change only.
Okay, okay. So
I
yeah,
also have one topic in mind. If you could cover a bit on that regarding the medical waste, because that is related to the current topic also, the current situation of the country. So the major concern that we're facing in terms of environmental pollution is medical waste related to the current situation.
okay. See, the thing is why I'm not these topics, like they are very good to be aware about, but the thing is they are not good from the examination point of view right now, because like I have to be very blunt here, because these are the things which are very good, when you are socially aware about all these things, that's perfect. But these are the things which this will not ask, like how much medical or is contributing towards the environment or something, because they basically go for these only, because like I like we have also our juniors, so we also ask them like sometimes when we interact, so what all was asked, so they also say that, so they don't say sir, they say like okay, so UNFCC was asked like what was the function, the purpose, different protocols were asked, and how renewable energy, how much India is, how much is India on their goals on, may it be sustainable or may it be climate goals, how much is India there, how much do you think, what are the lags is there, how much has India contributed till now. So these are the things. So because, so this is from my point of view, I don't think like these topics are very good, no doubt, but they are not very good from the examination point of view. Like if you want, I can still search, but it's better if you search for this, because yeah, that's what I think. Like I have to be blunt, I'm so sorry for that. Uh, is it okay? Like, hello? Like, am I audible to everyone? Like, who is all there? Like, we know it's up past 10, so we have to stop here.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So, there is like another thing like which I also got to know recently, that, this football World Cup which happens. We all know this FIFA World Cup which happens, which is supposed to happen Qatar in 2022. So, this also somewhere raises a lot of carbon emissions, because, if it's happening in a warmer country like Qatar, so what happens is like a lot of ACs are required for to, to keep the people, to keep the stadiums cool, or to keep, because it's like Qatar is like, it's like a 50 or above degrees Celsius you are playing football, so people will definitely dehydrate, or the players will dehydrate. So for all the people in the stadiums, they go for ACs, and for other people also, and lot of, a lot of, if you see a lot of who are the watchers, so basically you will see a lot of Europe countries, so they are the ones, people who come for football. So that is what happening. So when they come, so basically they usually come by flights. So flight emissions is another one of the biggest thing which we don't talk about it, because flight fuel is one of the thing like which we can't replace. We can't go for renewable right now in flights, because there's one fuel which is fixed and we use that. We don't have any alternative for that. The reason why Montreal protocol was, success, because we had an alternative to carbon fluorocarbons like CFCs. We had HFCs. We had different. That is why it was a, it was a success, because countries we like India or the developed countries, we could switch to something alternative. But till now in flight we don't have any alternative fuel. Like there have been a lot of this thing practically studies done, like go for hydrogen fuel and this thing. They are till now they are in that phase only. You can't risk, people there. They are only on the theoretical phase, like abhi tak practical nahi hua hai. So these are all the things, you know so as I was saying, like if it is happening in Qatar, so a lot of people, from the Europe or from the America, so these are the countries, these are the people who can afford the flight and who usually come to watch the football, not from Asian countries, like the poor countries, like be it India or be it like Pakistan, be it Nepal, be it Bangladesh. We usually don't go there. So what happens is that a location of a FIFA World Cup determines a lot about how much carbon is going to emit. That is why I was reading on this article. They said ki it will be perfect to have a World Cup in Europe, because since Europe is a continent, where a lot of countries are basically very close to each other. So basically people can come by, their vehicle, people can come by, in a bus, so that reduces a lot of carbon emission compared to the flights, taking flights. And it will reduce a lot of other requirement of ACs also, because in Qatar it is very hot in there. So of course they have been, and one thing I forgot to mention about all the, like even though we know a lot of in Qatar, like a lot of preparations are right now on the swing. But what about all those deaths which is happening there? A lot of people from Indians basically go there, for this construction of these stadiums and all, just for what? Just for 1 year, just for that World Cup. A lot of deaths have been happening there, but since it's a very different country, we can't even ask for the labor laws, or we can't even ask about the, the labor protections and everything. So these are the things which we have to keep in mind. So this was an article which I got it, and it really blew my mind. Like I never thought like football World Cup location will have an impact on the environment also. So if you say something these, during the environment, which even the faculties or the person who is taking an interview, if you say something regarding that, ki, sir, I have been interested toward this field because of this thing. So this, like, I'm very interested in football. This struck me, this thing, that how is football related to environment? Then, sir, I really started searching for it, and I came about this conclusion. And so these are the things which we can do. I mean, this shows your passion towards, climate change, and this shows your dedication basically to the people. And they'll also see that even if you have scored very less, or maybe the just baseline marks in testnet, then also they'll think that they'll give you much higher marks in practice in that test pat, and that will basically save you through the entire process. So somewhere you have to, keep reading, and basically read all those articles which are basically, totally you have never even thought about it कि ऐसा भी हो सकता है क्या. So yeah, that was all. I hope I didn't bore you, I guess. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
No, sir. Thank
So
you
it
so
was a
much.
really
Sir.
insightful session. Thanks for the
Yes, sir.
information.
Okay, guys. I hope you guys stay safe because of this corona. All the people, if there are Delhiites in here, so please be safe because I'm also in Delhi and it's very pathetic condition outside. Just stay safe. Make your family stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Sorry to take your dinner time. Yeah, but that was the slot I was given.